Hey, everybody. So we are joined by Brian Kasper. He is our first person joining us for our podcast on weight loss after spinal cord injury and just healthy eating. It doesn't have to be weight loss, just feeling better through diet. So, hey, Brian, how are you? Welcome.
I'm doing all right.
Oh, so good to I'm doing good. Thank you. Thank you again for being on the podcast and sharing just your story with us. I know it can be a little bit weird putting your life out there on the internet, so thank you. So I don't know a lot about you. I know that you're in Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you don't mind sharing, how were you injured and how long ago was it?
I was when I was 18, so 2003.
Okay.
I was in a car accident, drinking and driving.
Oh,
A
okay.
teenager, so
That's a very common injury, unfortunately. So
right.
were you like 10th grade or 11th grade?
I was became my junior year and senior year of high school.
Okay.
So
That's a tough age. So how did you go back to school? Did you even go back to school after your injury?
I got tutored when I was in the hospital and stuff like that, and they actually gave me credits for going to my therapy.
Oh, good.
So
Nice.
yeah,
That's
so I didn't
nice.
really go to school, but the tutor came and said, "Hey, you can work on whatever you want, basically.
That's lucky.
And
That did not happen to me. What
if
high
you feel too stressed out, don't worry about doing it. It's all
what
about healing."
what high school were you at?
New Prague High School.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's pretty nice. So then I know that you're a C7 or what's your level of injury?
Well, see, most people are injured because they broke a vertebrae, right? But I had a blood clot from C2 down to T10.
Oh, wow.
So
Wow.
I haven't met anybody else who's been injured
No,
that way. Either like,
never. So you're telling me you got a blood clot from your car accident then?
yeah, like
Okay.
kind of like the way I understand it is like more like a concussion, right? Like my muscles, like since I was so young and strong, like I was in football and wrestling and I was working concrete that summer. So like I gained like 15 pounds in like a month and a half, like pure muscle.
Wow.
I
Wow.
guess basically I was like so strong and young or whatever, like my muscles were able to protect my spinal column, but the impact was still so great that my spinal column can protect my spinal cord. So like kind of like when you get concussion, right? Like your brain smashes up the against the wall of your skull and that bruises your skull.
Oh
So
man.
my spinal cord smashed up against my vertebrae and bruised the vertebrae.
Oh gosh. So you were injured pretty severely, or what's like your level of function after all said and done?
Well, they told me I would be on a ventilator for the rest of my life. Um, when I was first injured, I couldn't even shrug my left shoulder. I could move my right hand like I normally, or arm, I should say, like I always could, but like I couldn't move my fingers. Like I could move my wrist both ways. I had full bicep and tricep, but
Mm.
my left arm, I couldn't even like shrug my shoulder. And through, I guess, years and years of rehab, and I contribute a lot of my success to the diet and other things too that I
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
But I'm able to push a manual wheelchair and walk in a walker and
Really?
um,
Wow. That's
things
huge.
like that. So
Mhm.
a long ways from where they told me I was going to be, right? Like,
The
so,
doctors, I feel like doctors, we already know that they kind of give you the worst case scenario, right? And then if
right,
you get better, it makes them look really great, right?
yeah. I think
Mhm.
I think they should be like, well,
Mhm.
like chances are, like it's going to be tough. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, right.
like you got to work at it, but they
It's
don't really give you.
I don't like when the doctors say that you're going to be on a ventilator for the rest of your life right away. I think that's kind of depressing when they say that to people. It really gets in your head.
Well, and like there's so many people that I talk to that like after their injury, like their initial diagnosis was so much, like what the doctors told them, like, oh, you're not going to get this far. And then they always end up getting so much farther than that. Like, I don't see why they give them such a grim outlook. You know what I mean?
I know it's the worst. We should get a doctor on who can tell us why. But I think that I'm glad that you got better. So you were a teenager, and how long did it take for you to kind of figure out that you needed to eat better, or were you always someone that ate healthy before you were injured?
Well, I mean, I guess I had it in mind, like I knew about it,
Hmm.
but I was just a teenager, so
Right.
I ate basically anything and everything that was put in front of me. Like,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
I'd go to the Chinese restaurant and eat 7 plates of food, and still be hungry somehow. Like an hour later.
Oh, I know. Those were the teenage years. So after your injury, I mean, did you try to eat the same and you realized, whoa, I better not eat this much food?
Well, it was before I even got out of rehab, so like I spent 40 days in ICU, like incredibly long time in ICU, and then
That's a long
another 3 months in a rehab hospital, and then another 10 months at the Kurd Center, and
time. Wow.
years of outpatient after that.
Wow. Wow.
And I was on the feeding tube and stuff like that, so I spent 3 months without even eating or drinking anything. Like I
Wow.
never wanted water so bad in my life. Like
Oh.
I remember telling myself, because like my mom, like they would get me out of bed in the hospital. They would take me and wheel me out on the patio at the Bethesda Hospital, and
Oh.
every time they wheel me out, I had to pass the pop machine, and the pop machine had like the can on it with the driplets of water that just looked so good to me that like I just wanted to stop and like lick the machine.
Ah.
But tell my mom just to stop and park me there before I went outside so I could look at the water, how good it looked. And there was a
Oh.
water fountain right next to it too. So it
Oh.
was just, I don't know, kind of like when I would cut weight in wrestling. For some reason, like I loved watching like cooking foods and like looking at stuff. Like most people would hate that, like when they were cutting weight. But it was like at least I can see it and like think about it. But
So yeah, so you couldn't drink much water, you were saying, after your injury?
yeah, for like 3 months because I was on the ventilator and I had the
That's right.
feeding tube,
Oh my God.
and so when I would swallow, it would go down into my lungs,
Right. Wow.
instead of into the stomach. And
So wow. So after you got the ventilator out, I bet you were drinking a lot of delicious water.
yeah, as soon as they let me, like, well, and that's what I was saying. I told myself that I was never gonna like allow like deplete myself of water again.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And so that might have been, I
Mhm.
guess, part of the thought there. But once I got to the Kurd Center and got like really deep into doing my rehab and stuff, I was having constant UTIs, just one after another, and it was just ridiculous. I know a common thing for wheelchair or
Oh
disabled
yeah.
people in general,
Oh yeah.
especially like quadriplegics.
Catheter users, that's a common thing. If you use a catheter, it's your life. You're gonna get UTIs.
Right. And I don't know, I guess just like I realized the antibiotics weren't working
Yeah.
and like something needed to be different. And um, kind of like right as I got out of the Kurd Center, I started learning about like healthier eating and stuff like that, and realized, through advice and different researches and stuff that I did, that like cutting out sugar was a huge thing. Like
Yeah.
once I quit eating sugar, like the UTIs basically like just disappeared. And
What? Hold on. That's a huge revelation. Now, how did you even come upon that, like to not eat sugar? Does your doctor recommend that to you?
no, I mean, I met a couple different people who like were into healthier eating and
Cool.
stuff like that, like doing organic. Like when I moved out, I met just a couple different people who kind of like were into eating organic and healthier and stuff like that, and just that led me down the path like researching, I guess, just diet more, and like
Okay.
realizing, like before my accident, like to me, like the only reason why you'd want to eat healthy was just because you're overweight. Like otherwise, you can eat whatever you want because you're not gonna, gain
Right.
weight. And
Right.
I've been a skinny guy my whole life. I've been able to. I have, you were talking about like weight loss, but I have the
Right.
opposite problem with like
Uh-huh.
weight gain. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And
Yep.
actually, that's another huge thing after my accident. Like I got, I was, I'm 6 feet tall, and I got down to like 98 pounds.
Oh my God.
And
Mm-mm.
for like when I was at the Courage Center, uh, I couldn't get over 110 pounds. And then finally, like once I got out of the Courage Center, and and I was drinking Boost 3 times a day, doing like double lunches.
What?
I would order from like Frankie's, and I'd eat a whole rack of ribs and a half a salad.
So
And
what was happening? Why weren't you gaining weight? What was happening?
I think mainly I wasn't digesting it properly. And
Yeah.
you know, with a spinal cord injury, I think your whole body just goes out of whack and stuff
Sure
like that.
does.
So just
Yeah.
in general, I would say most people don't digest their food fully.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. That's true. Yeah.
And so your body's wasting a lot of energy digesting food and getting nothing from it, or trying to digest food, I should say.
That sucks.
And
Yeah. So wow. So you decided to like, I'm gonna just cut sugar out of my diet and let's see how it works.
yeah, and then I kind of sort of at the same time I started eating organics,
Oh
and
yeah.
that made a huge difference, like less processed food and stuff like that. And that's kind of like right when I moved out of the Courage Center. So like,
Cool.
you know, I had been spending the last year or so like eating conventional food from the hospital or whatever.
Yeah. Not good.
Yeah, not tasty.
I remember the tater tot casserole from the Courage Center. So good.
I remember liking the ice cream and like knowing that like since I was on double lunch, I could get an extra ice cream.
It was not really ever good food though. I remember at the Courage Center,
Right.
they definitely don't put any effort into organic food there at all.
Right. And that I would love to change that there, because I think it would be a great part of therapy.
Oh yeah. I just saw a thing over the weekend that there's a therapist that's using food now to treat brain disorders. It's really cool. There's I think a lot of still unknown stuff about just food and how, it's
Well,
medicine, right? It's just
yeah.
medicine. And when you're injured, like we are, I think it's critical to really kind of remind yourself that. Mm-hmm.
Well, like they give you a pill because they say you're depressed because the chemicals are unbalanced in your head or whatever, right? And they
Mm-hmm.
give you a pill to correct that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's just a chemical in your body. Like when you eat food, that's all your body doing is breaking it down into different chemicals and using it.
Right.
So why can't you use food
Totally.
to treat your?
It's more natural. I know. As long as you have the time to go shopping, right? And because people always grab that shitty food last minute, and it's that taco at Taco Bell or whatever. They don't put time and effort. For you, since you're now eating so healthy, is meal planning like a really integral part of your life now? Like making sure you get, yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that? I know I didn't put it in the list, but I just thought about this. Like, I know as a quad, is meal planning trickier? Do you have any tips for that? Like, just planning together good meals. Do you do all of it on your own?
Yeah, mostly. Well, I've been living here in Waseca because I got a job tutoring
Cool.
at the school, and been having difficulties finding any PCAs to like work for me and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a lot of between like working a full-time job and like taking care of myself. Like,
Oh man.
Like if I don't have everything lined up and set
Right.
up, like it goes wrong real fast.
So, what's an easy way to eat healthy when you're in a pinch like yourself right now? What do you do that guarantees you're going to eat okay?
Try to find like as many like healthy pre-made things as I can.
Yep.
Or like, since I do a lot of things on myself, like it cuts down on a lot of time, me being a quadriplegic, like having somebody cut up my vegetables for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it takes them like maybe 30 seconds to cut an onion, but it's going to take me 5-10 minutes.
I know, right? I know. Yeah. Yeah.
So things like that, and just like planning ahead and just having different things like, when I like rice is a great thing to eat.
Yeah.
So, you can make it and put it in the fridge, or like I should get better at making like pre-made frozen meals, but I like to stay fresher.
Me too.
And
yeah.
Actually recently kind of what I've done even though I'm not quite sure if it's like, the most best thing to do, but I think, well, I should go back a little bit.
Okay.
Like when I got out of the Kurg Center and on my own and like started eating healthier and learning about the organics, I got really, really strict and I got on a raw food diet.
Oh, really?
Where all I ate was raw fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds. So like
Ooh.
stricter than like a vegan, you know what I mean? Like
Ooh.
the only like vegan rule I would have broken was like I ate honey.
Wow.
And I hate the idea of like a vegan because like you could be a vegan and still eat French fries,
Oh
Like,
yeah, you could totally eat French fries. I know a lot of vegans with like they're not healthy. Yeah.
there's a lot of junk food that you can eat as a vegan. But I was a raw foodist, and
Oh,
that made just waves, huge, huge differences.
really?
And just everything, like my skin, like I could get like a cut or something like that, and like I would treat it with wheat germ oil and like a herbal compound called connective tissue,
Yeah.
and I could watch it like heal in like 3 days, like to where it would just be like a red mark.
Really?
So like, and I know like people that are in wheelchairs, like that's skin breakdown is a huge thing.
Huge thing. Huge thing. Wow. So
So like
that's
just the skin alone was a huge thing there, and like
yeah.
digestion and my muscle spasms, UTIs, like just I remember like after being on a diet for like a year or so, like looking back on the year and like thinking about like, wow, like last winter I didn't have like a cold, I didn't even have like a runny nose or
Wow.
anything.
Really?
I had like more energy than everybody else around me. Like it was
Mhm.
just like, I get done doing my walking for the day, like, I just
Yeah.
walked for an hour or whatever, and
Yeah.
the people that are working for me, they're tired of working like all day. And I'm like, oh, let's go, like let's go for like a walk, cruise in my wheelchair, because I found that just to be beneficial too, like going out for a couple miles in your power wheelchair, or
Oh yeah.
as far as you can push in the manual wheelchair, like just getting out and getting that movement and that vibration around. So like basically any movement you can get when you're in a wheelchair, I think is going to be beneficial.
Yeah. So how come you stopped doing the raw diet? Was it too hard to keep up?
It was a lot to maintain.
Mhm.
At that time I had a great PCA that like really supported me with it, and
Right.
I was living up in Minneapolis, or well, New Hope, close to Minneapolis, so like
Yeah.
I had access to the Wedge Community Co-op,
Oh
which
yeah, the Wedge is a great place. Yeah.
is like you pay $80 if
Mhm.
you're on a fixed income or like disabled or anything like that. You get 10% off of everything,
Oh yeah.
and then a year you get a patronage rebate check, which
Oh yeah.
aside from last year, like was always like it was better than my tax rebate, basically.
Wow, really?
But last year they didn't have any money because they built like a new store and stuff like that, and did a lot of
Um,
renovations. So they didn't make any profit. So, but
okay.
I highly recommend if you're around here. Well, you know about the Wedge, so I'm glad
I know
about
about the
that.
Wedge. I like to go to a co-op closer to me over in northeast over here on Central. I go to that co-op, north side. But yeah, the Wedge is great. I know. And so, do you eat vegan now then, or do you just eat healthy?
I try to eat as healthy as I can. Like, I would love to be like a place where I could be back on that raw food diet.
Yeah.
But like another thing about like when you get like real strict like that is like you'd be surprised at how it impacts your social life.
Oh,
Because
right. Yeah.
like a lot of times when you go out with people, like you're either going to dinner or you're going out to eat, or family events on the holidays and stuff like that. And when you show up at Thanksgiving and like, oh, I'm gonna eat the salad and nothing else, like everybody's like, oh, come on, like sort of like they don't
It's
understand.
hard. Yeah. No.
And that, and just like I said, it is a lot to maintain. I would love to be back there, but now I kind of try to go off of like what I can do and how I feel and stuff like that, like,
Yeah.
and well, the thing is too is like, cravings.
Yeah.
And
Right.
uh, so like I realize you can change the way your body craves things. Like your body's craving things because it's like saying I need this kind of nutrient or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so if you grew up, eating unhealthy or whatever, your body learns that it gets this nutrients from this thing. So it craves that thing. So like,
right. I hear what you mean.
Like kind of like a terrible example, but like say your body needs like calcium, and maybe you didn't drink a lot of milk, but you ate a lot of ice cream. So like you crave ice cream instead or something like that, like. And when I got real strict on the diet, like it was to the point where like the thought of like going to like the Wedge and getting like their bulk baby greens that they had was like my mouth water. I was like, oh, I love getting from them from there. You know what I mean? Like, and I would crave greens. You know what I mean? Like vegetables. Like
who would have thought? I know the body the body can be retrained now. That's actually a really good tip. That's really cool.
And it got to the point where like, you go by McDonald's and like just the smell of it was terrible.
Yeah.
And like, even if you ate it, like it didn't taste good. Like it was like, you could tell there was no substance to it. You know what I mean? Like it was hollow. Like there was just empty calories in a sense.
I hate that feeling. I know it. You can really tell once you start eating healthy. It's hard to go back to eating junk food, isn't it? You just can't. Right. I think so. Do you ever do you ever order groceries to your house where you live, or do you still go to the grocery store down there?
Sometimes. Well, it was nice when they offered it. Like if you spent over $100, it was free.
Okay.
But I think that was kind of like a promotional era with them, so it kind of got to be a little bit more than that. And,
okay. So how about right now? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I find it hard to like schedule like the time to fit in the times when they can come and stuff like that too.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. And I know where you live now, though, you're not getting access to that food. So where are you shopping right now?
Well, I shop and like here in Waseca, there's Cashwise and Walmart, and I was actually surprised when I moved into town here, like what there was there for organics, but like it's sad because it's always the same thing over and over again. Like we're compared to going to the Wedge, it's like the most beautiful produce section that you could think of. Like there's so many different things to try and so fresh and stuff like that because there's so much volume of people going there and turn around there. But like I doubt their produce stays on the shelf for much more than a day.
No, it doesn't. What do you make that you want to, what you would recommend to quadriplegics out there or paraplegics that, like, do you do smoothies or is there like a power snack that you just love that you think we should know about?
I mean, I guess smoothies are great.
It sounds like you know the good power foods to eat. I'm like, this guy might have some tips. Like, what do you like really live by that you know is great?
I would say try to eat as much leafy greens as you can because leafy greens basically have all like the vitamins and minerals and nutrients that you would ever need.
Okay. Like kale, like is kale every day good enough, or should you add other stuff to it?
I like a variety. I always say a variety. Like I know kale is a good one, but the thing about kale is like it's harder to break down and digest because it's a lot tougher of a green.
Okay.
But you do like the more green the lettuce is, the more nutrients it's going to have. So like, on the other end, you'd have the iceberg lettuce, which is, pretty much worthless.
Worthless.
But
yeah.
I like, romaine is always a good one because I like it because it lasts long.
Yep.
It's got a long shelf life. You can find it pretty much everywhere.
Okay.
It's good as long as it's not covered in E. coli.
Yeah, right. How about avocados? Or do you eat avocados a lot?
Oh, I love avocados. They always talk about the omegas and stuff like that. I haven't really gotten much into that, just other than I know that I like fat and I crave fat. And fats, I should say. People are always concerned, like, even like for like weight loss, like I would say you can eat as much fat as you want. You just got to eat right fats. Like, eat avocados, eat, olive oil, coconut oil, other oils like that. Don't stay away from like the butter
and the fat and fat from meat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you eat any meat at all, or are you completely vegan?
Well, and that's where I started going before I started explaining like the my raw food diet that I was on. That kind of recently through just some like research and I guess listening to different people on like Joe Rogan's podcast actually talking about diet and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've been doing, and just because I find it easier, because like on a raw food diet, like you have a hard time like getting full and like finding like I think protein and stuff like that. I think that's where like the fullness comes. Like there's things you can do like sprouted beans and stuff like that, and you can get the protein on a vegetarian raw food diet. It's just you got to know where and how, and it's a lot more challenging than just throwing a chicken breast in the oven and eating it.
Yeah.
So what I found, and like real simple, like you said, as a quadriplegic and like being on my own, I like to just either cook up a chicken breast, however, like I like boiling it, and then maybe in coconut oil. I love Thai food, spicy food, and so Thai food has inspired a lot of my cooking. So I pretty much everything like ends up being a variation of a curry in a sense.
Awesome.
So boil the chicken in coconut milk and at a low temperature for a while, and then just eating that with a salad. Throwing some. I love frozen peas. Throwing frozen peas in there because I don't got to prep them or anything like that.
Yeah, frozen peas.
Or just celery or whatever put with it.
Well,
but even if I just have a piece of meat and a salad on the side, like it's the easiest thing to do.
And would you
satisfied off of it?
Do you stick with like the brown rice instead of the white rice when you do like a carb? I'm like, what would you serve with that chicken then, since you're so healthy?
Well, and that's another huge thing is food combining that I learned about. So like biggest thing with food combining, you can get really strict with the people get kind of nuts with it. But like I've noticed like don't eat meat with carbohydrates.
Really?
Because meat is going to digest in an acid in your stomach. So like your stomach's going to make an acid in your stomach to digest meat. Where like to digest the carbohydrates, it's going to be more of an alkaline substance. So if you eat carbohydrates and meat together, your body's sitting there throwing acid on the meat and then throwing alkaline on the carbohydrates, and nothing's really getting digested.
Okay.
So
wow.
If you separate your carbohydrates with your meat and eat them at different times, you'll notice way more energy.
Cool. That's a really good tip. Wow.
And that's another thing, like drinking water is like not drinking water with your meals. I try to like drink water. I usually only end up being like 5 minutes before, but like ideally I like to do it at least 20 minutes before I eat. And then after I eat, I like to wait at least an hour.
Why don't you?
Again.
What's the problem with water while you eat? I've never heard of this before.
Well, it's watering down the digestive juices in your stomach.
Oh, right.
And then your food's not getting digested as well.
And you're not absorbing the food. I hear you. Okay.
Right. Where like your body doesn't really digest water, it just absorbs it more or less.
Right. That's interesting. Wow. What if you're thirsty while you're eating though? What do you do?
Well, I like to do things like I always have kombucha. Okay. I'm addicted to kombucha.
Cool.
Which is a great thing. Like if you're addicted to soda, like you should try kombucha because it's fizzy and it's sweet, and they actually make like soda flavored kombuchas out there.
They do. Okay. You're brave. I can't do kombucha. I've tried it. I gotta try those other flavors, I think.
Yeah, well, I don't know what I was gonna say. If you try one and you didn't like it, there's so many different flavors out there, and every brand has such a different taste to it, and like the style of how they do it.
Okay. Cool. That's cool. I'm gonna try that.
In general, I would say like fermented food, like as much fermented food as you can eat. Like I love eating kimchi, kombucha. I know there's like different like kefirs, like non-dairy kefirs out there and stuff like that.
How about just sauerkraut?
Yeah, well, that's basically what kimchi is.
Yeah.
Is sauerkraut with other vegetables. But a lot of times sauerkraut is boiled.
Okay.
Where like you wouldn't be boiled. So when you're boiling it, you're killing a lot of the bacteria that was living
Really? Oh,
in
God.
there.
That's
So you
sad.
want to raw sauerkraut in a
So
sense,
raw sauerkraut is like horseradish. That's not pickled though. Okay,
Well,
interesting.
it could be, I suppose, but
Well,
cayenne pepper is a great thing. Like if you any herbalist
yeah.
that you talk to, if they were on like a stranded island and they could only take one herb with them, it would be cayenne pepper.
Oh yeah.
And that's because cayenne pepper enhances the effect of like any other herb that you would take, or I guess if it's going to be an herb, any other food that you would eat as well. And
Okay.
from what I've learned, I think it's because the main thing that cayenne pepper does is it improves your circulation. So if
Okay.
your circulation is improving, basically all of your body functions are going to improve. You know, more
Right.
blood going to your stomach to digest the food, more
Cool.
blood is going throughout your body to get the nutrients around in your body, more
Yeah.
blood is going through your body to get rid of the toxins and whatever and whatnot.
Wow. Okay. I put cayenne.
So
I've heard putting cayenne pepper just in some water. Would that be effective, or should you just put it on your food?
I don't think it would be that palatable to just put it in water. Like that'd be pretty hard to take.
All
But
right.
yeah, spicy foods in general. I think it's the capsicum. That's what's in cayenne pepper that makes it spicy.
Right. Right. That's
But
good tips. God, you're good. You have a lot of good advice. I was surprised. I'm really glad I have you on right now because I'm learning from you. Nutritionists after a spinal cord injury, they teach you a certain amount of things, but I don't really feel people's spinal cord injuries are getting, I don't know, all the nutrition advice they could really get. So
right,
it's
and
true.
that's why I'm so happy that finally. I mean, basically, I've been in a chair for 16 years now,
Yeah.
and once I learned that, like, so it was only like a year or so, a little bit more after my accident that I started eating healthier. Like,
Yeah.
that's been the path that I've been down,
That's
um,
great.
and I'm glad that I found that out because, like, I see other people like. After I moved out of the Courage Center, I lived in an apartment complex that was for disabled people, and
Yeah.
they'd be like, "Oh, what's that goofy food you're eating and all that stuff?" And your
Really?
kin smells, and "Oh, why would you do that?" And like, like, "Why don't you come eat McDonald's with us or whatever?" And all that. And
No,
I
no.
was just like, "No, like, you guys have UTIs all the time. Like, why do you think?" You know what I mean? Like, you have a colostomy bag and all this stuff.
Yeah, no.
Like you got skin breakdown. Like, why do you think your skin doesn't heal? Like, why do you think this doesn't happen? So I was just like,
Yeah. No.
seemed clear to me. So it's also a benefit for me to see other people who had been injured much longer than I was,
Yeah.
like not making the same choices I was,
Yeah.
and seeing like how I was improving and they're not, and like even now, like some of the guys I know, like he's got his leg amputated,
I
he's
know,
on
right?
rest,
Yeah.
and like, this could have been prevented, most
It
definitely.
it could have been. I don't think a lot of people who are paralyzed understand how significant your diet can make on your long-term life and your health and all of that. It's huge. It's so huge. And I think,
Well,
yeah.
there's been times where like I haven't been real good with my diet, and
Hmm.
well, last year when I started doing this job, like I don't know, like teachers, I think they love sugar or something because like every day at like school, there's always like some extra sweet or something
Oh
around,
yeah.
and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
always hard to deny when somebody's always offering it,
That's not
and
good. No.
and so
Just say no.
yeah, right. But I could
Mhm.
tell. Well, actually, my skin had started breaking down a little bit, and I started for the first time like getting a little bit of pressure sore. Like
Really? See?
I
Mm-hmm.
noticed like, as soon as I was like, oh man, I gotta clean up my diet, and like I always go back to the first thing is I always cut out sugar. Like
Oh, that's
I'm like,
hard to do. That's so good. That's good. So you put no sugar in your coffee?
I don't drink coffee.
You don't drink coffee. Wow. You're
Well,
impressive. Yeah.
caffeine,
Hmm.
I don't like the way it affects my nervous system. I guess
Okay. Okay.
like it just makes it kind of like freak out and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
so I don't. And stimulants in general, like I don't really like for my nervous system. Like I don't know.
You're gonna
But I
live to
think
be, you might live to be the longest living quadriplegic ever at the rate you're going.
that's a word.
I hope.
or 100. Well, kind of what really kind of turned me off to like caffeine was the chiropractor that I go to.
Mhm.
Not necessarily that like he preaches or anything like that, but just, well, he's a different chiropractor than most. He does, and like most chiropractors, they're physically moving your bones and like cracking them and stuff like that. And like that's why a lot of people don't like going to them, because like, oh, I don't want to go there and have them break my neck.
Oh,
But
I
this
know.
he uses it's called the torque release technique,
Okay.
and basically he's releasing the tension on your spinal cord.
Oh.
But he'll never physically adjust you. He
Nice.
just has little thing, I forget what it's called, but like,
The activator. It's an activator.
but his is different than everybody else's, because like, your massage therapists or your chiropractors, theirs, they decide when it triggers and when it fires, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, so they can push as hard or as soft as they want
Yeah.
and trigger it. Where his, when he pushes on you, it'll release, and when it releases, it'll release at the frequency of 64 hertz,
Oh,
which
okay.
is the frequency that resets your nervous system.
Wow. Cool.
So I go there, and like he has you lay down on the table face first. It's got like a big slot in it, and you wouldn't notice it, but the end of it is angled just right so that your legs are at a certain angle.
Oh,
And
cool.
you'll put on both of your feet, and one leg will be longer than the other one.
Oh.
And from there, he has a whole bunch of different reflexes that he'll test
Okay.
until he finds out one that tests positive. And
What?
then he'll fire his little actuator thing. And
Yep.
when he does that, he calls that the primary adjustment. And for
Okay.
every primary adjustment that he does, there can be 8 to 11, I think, secondary adjustments. And then he'll leave you there for a little bit, and he goes around and adjusts the other people. And when he does that, like, I call it like shape shifting.
Cool.
So I'm laying there, like, he'll fire his thing, and I'll just feel like a whoosh, like an energy kind of go throughout the body. And, my breathing will get better. I'll feel like, I really messed up my shoulder in my accident, my left shoulder. I'll feel my shoulder align right, my spine, like I feel like, where it was crooked, and I'll get right, and like my hips and stuff like that. And it's amazing feeling like your body just like kind of mold back into where it should be.
That's pretty great. Well, do you want to give a shout out to your chiropractor, or if someone's out there listening, they live in another state, do you know what the kind of chiropractic work this would be called, so they can find it where they live?
I would torque release technique. You want to find a chiropractic technique. And the chiropractor that I see here in Minnesota, he's out of Savage. It's Life Force Family Chiropractic.
Cool. Cool. That's awesome. I love hearing about stories like that. My brother's a chiropractor, so I know it can change people's lives. So that is really cool to hear. It's helping you. So unfortunately, we have to kind of end things soon here. But before we end our conversation, is there like anything else you wanted to quick mention that you didn't get a chance?
B vitamins.
Okay.
B vitamins is a great thing.
Okay, and why? Why B vitamins?
It's a coenzyme, and basically it helps your body digest food, but it helps the communication with your nervous system. Like that's where your nervous system, besides from the sugars, uses to communicate.
Yeah.
That and probiotics.
Yogurt.
Which can also be, fermented vegetables, fermented drinks, is like the kombucha. Like I said, basically anything fermented. Like,
how about yogurt? Yogurt's a good one, right?
Yogurt's all right. I don't like yogurt because I'm not real huge on dairy, because dairy produces mucus and inflammation. And the yogurt's only going to have acidophilus in it. If it does have it, a lot of the yogurts that are out there aren't actually even yogurts anyways, because they don't have any bacteria in them at all. But it's okay. I mean, it's better than not, but I tend to stay away from the yogurt just because dairy is harder to digest, and like the inflammation.
Could you eat a big pickle?
Well, most pickles wouldn't necessarily be fermented either.
They're not fermented? Okay, I thought they were.
They could, well, Very rarely. The only ones that I found to be like somewhat fermented are like the Bubby's pickles,
Okay.
and those are water and salt.
Okay. That's really cool. I've heard more and more about fermented food. They believe that it can help people extend their lives. So that's a good thing to in the
Well,
be. Yeah.
you're eating life, so you're putting life in the body,
Mm.
and that's what my chiropractor says. Like when you're eating food, like you should think, is this putting life into my body or is it taking life from my body?
Wow. Wow. That's really awesome. I'm gonna leave it at that. And I want to know, do you have a blog or a healthy living kind of blog where people can get advice from you, or is there a way people can communicate with you if they have any, questions? You sound like an expert on the topic. Mhm.
Yeah, I should, and I guess I've been thinking about like doing this with you, and I was thinking like maybe
Yeah,
this is to something, but I
yeah.
just get I'm on Facebook.
Okay.
Um,
Well, we'll post a link to your Facebook page for now, Brian Kasper, and maybe by the time this podcast goes all live, we could add another link if you do end up starting a blog somewhere or whatever. Well, I'm sure people will be able to find it if they do, add you on Facebook. So yeah. And do you have an email address too? Maybe you could say that real quick.
sure, yeah. It's BKASPER182000 at yahoo.com.
182000 at yahoo.com.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well,
I
that
just
is good.
set it up when I was in the Career Center.
You set it up at the Career Center way back in the day. Man, I know my Yahoo. I've had my Yahoo email forever too. It's funny.
Well, I
So,
lived on, so I didn't have the internet, so like I didn't bother getting an email address till I got up to the Career Center.
oh, you did? Wow. Well, I'm glad you joined the digital world. And I'm really glad to meet you, even though, it's always weird meeting people because we're both paralyzed. We happen to know each other because we're both paralyzed. And it's just great to finally meet you over webcam. And I think you have a lot of awesome advice to share. You're teaching me a lot of stuff, and I've been paralyzed since '93, and I didn't know some of the stuff you told me. So thank you for sharing your advice. And I'm sure you're going to help a lot of people out there, Brian. Thank you.
If anybody has any questions, please feel free to hit me up. I would be more than happy to share my experience with them.
Okay, great. And we'll have a great Thanksgiving as well, okay?
Yeah, you too.
All right, bye. Thank you, Brian. Hey, everybody. So we are going to be joined now by Damon. As you can see, he is from Honolulu, right? Honolulu, Hawaii. He's a quadriplegic, and I know he was injured surfing, but I forget how long ago. So, hey, Damon, welcome.
Hi.
It's so nice to see you again. And I've been friends with you for a long time online. I've yet to meet you in person, which Hawaii is just so expensive. I do want to fly there one day, but it's great to see you.
Yes.
Yeah. So what time is it over there? I'm always curious about the time difference.
It's noon.
It's
Oh,
noon. Okay, so it's 4 o'clock here. So this is so cool. So if you wanted to share a little bit, about how you were injured and how long ago, that would be awesome.
sure. I'm a C6 quadriplegic. I was up on the Big Island.
Mm-hmm.
I was with a friend. We were hanging out at the beach, diving into shallow water.
Okay.
And we were just hanging out, and he was diving in, and I was just watching. And it was my first time there. I hadn't ever tried it. And so I jumped, and I didn't realize he was jumping into this small little channel.
Oh no.
Sand, and then on the side, each side of it was the reef, and it was high surf. So during the high surf, there's foam on the top of the water. You can't see into the water.
Mm-hmm.
So when I jumped, I just missed it by like 6 inches, and I hit my head.
Oh no.
And I split my head, and I crunched my C6 vertebrae like a turtle, like I kind of crunched it. And like right there, I already couldn't move. And lucky thing, my friend, even though he was just a small little guy, he's probably like 5'3".
Mm-hmm.
He carried me out. He held me on the rocks, and on the Big Island, it's a much different island than Kauai, where I'm from.
Okay.
it's much newer, so the rocks are sharp.
Oh, okay.
Hawaii, the rocks are rounded, they're soft already.
Mm.
But he held me and he cradled my head and he told me, don't go to sleep, don't go to sleep. And then that was back in 2003,
Okay.
January 6th, like around like, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then he, cell phones were kind of a new deal.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily there are a couple of kids hanging out. And they called 911.
Oh, good.
And the firemen came. And it's not like what you imagine. When they strap you on the board, it's not a smooth ride.
Mm-mm.
You turn and twist and
Ugh.
you go all over. And same thing in the ER room.
Yeah.
There was only one doctor. So he had to put his knee up and he pulled my head off of the bed, probably like cracking more of my spinal cord.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm.
And he cradled my head while he used his one hand to like close my head and staple it back together.
Oh my God.
They put me on the bed with the cardboard neck brace.
Yeah.
And then they stuff you in the plane, but I'm kind of tall, so it took them a while to get me in there.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm.
So it's like all claustrophobic too, because the plane is like right near your face.
Oh God, that would be horrible.
But that took like an hour. So by then, my dad knew what was going on, and you know, that hours, the whole afternoon had gone on.
Mm-hmm.
So this is around like 7 o'clock at night already, or 5 o'clock at night or something.
Yeah.
So he was there.
Yeah.
So he got to ride next to the pilot and fly over. But it's annoying. It's annoying because it's a small plane.
Oh.
So they take forever.
That's scary. Oh my gosh. That must have been a really traumatic to go on a little plane and then you went to the big hospital, I'm guessing, in Honolulu or whatever. Is that where they brought you?
Yeah, they put me there and they put me in traction.
Okay. Yeah.
That's where they throw the halo around you and then they throw the cables back around the bed.
Yeah.
So you're stuck that way for like a month.
Ugh.
That sucked. And I don't know. Some people like morphine. I don't.
No.
When I pressed the button for morphine, then I pressed the nurse. I was like in like another world. I couldn't even speak English.
See, I know I'm a control freak. I wouldn't like that either. I didn't get a morphine drip when I was in traction. I don't know, man. You got lucky. I guess you didn't get lucky since you don't like morphine. So how old were you when you were injured?
27.
You're 27. Wow.
27.
Okay. So
I'm 44 now.
You're 44 now. And you were like really in shape at the time of your injury, right? Because I saw some photos of you. You were looking super good, like all muscly and like surfy guy. Was that kind of your vibe back in the day?
Yeah, everybody looks that way here.
Yeah, I guess in your 20s. We all look so good in our 20s, right? So basically I asked that because it's the transition from the injury. You know, you go from being this healthy person that's able and then you're quadriplegic, and that's like hardest. It's hard at any age, but at your age I imagine it was tricky since you're living in Hawaii and you're outside a lot and all that. But what was it like when you went home? And since this podcast is about diet, I don't want to get too far off that, but we can talk a little bit just about getting back home and kind of going back into your life. How was that at first? Was it really difficult for you, or were you one of those rock stars that just had an easy time of it? No.
Oh, no, it was super hard. Like I went to foster care.
Oh, you did? Yeah.
And then I stayed there for like 10 years because I was like scared. Plus, it's so hard to like come up with like first and last months, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
gotta pretty much find avenues like charities and stuff. Like, cause with your check, you ain't gonna cut it.
No, it's not. No, Social Security, SSDI, that's not enough for most people's monthly expenses. Yeah.
Yeah, the foster care takes it all.
Oh my gosh. So what did you do?
So, well, I got a bed sore, and then once I got a bed sore, as soon as you're as soon as you're in the facility for 90 days or longer, that was when we did our last podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get qualified for this program over here called Going Home Plus. It's a state program.
Yep.
And they are amazing. We're the first company that I ever met that truly advocated for the patient,
That's
for the
great.
client. And they don't say patient. They say client.
Nice. That's really nice. So you had 10 years of just not being really in charge of your own life. And then how did you get out of that? So you had help from them, and then now you ended up in your own place and like subsidized housing. Is that where you live now?
Yeah, I got into this really sweet place. It's made for wheelchairs. Like you click a button to open the front door.
Oh yeah, nice.
You know, that's got a sliding front door entrance that you can buzz people in and out through your phone. And, all rolling showers, all the sink and the burners. I got one of those back mirrors so you can see the top of the cooking.
Those are nice. I love those. Well, I'm so glad you're doing good. And I know since we've been friends for a while, it's funny because I saw I met you kind of like after your injury, and I know you put on some weight, right? After so many years. So can you talk a little bit about that and how that even happened? Because what we want to talk about is how you lost it, because I think that's really great. But how did you go, from your weight after your injury to getting overweight? So many people do. Was it just you lost control of what you were eating and just let it go, or what was it?
Well, I have a dual diagnosis.
Okay.
I have the C6 quadriplegia.
Okay.
But all my life, I've had my diagnosis of bipolar.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I've always had that. So when I had my manic and I went like to Texas and I was flying all over by myself.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like doing all these things that I wasn't capable of doing, but doing them anyways.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I got a scrape on my thigh that I wasn't. If I laid in bed for like on my stomach for like a week, it would have just healed. But instead, I was sitting down for 8 hours to 12 hours a day. And it wound up turning into a bed sore, stage 4.
Oh no.
And then plus, you get super like embarrassed about all the stuff you do when you're in your mania.
Yeah.
So that causes like agoraphobia, because the depression, like the mania is like maybe like 6 weeks, 6 months.
Okay. Okay.
The depression is like 2 years.
Oh wow.
Or it can be 10 years.
Okay.
But it got after the injury, you gotta eat a lot.
Yeah.
Especially like protein, a lot of meat for the surgery to heal.
Yep. Yep.
And so I was like eating, and then plus my diet was bad. I was drinking soda.
Oh yeah.
I was eating a lot of rice and eating a lot of like fried foods.
Okay. Okay.
So between me eating, staying home, pretty much just eating and going to bed.
Yeah.
Staying to bed all day.
Oh,
It just came up like 100 pounds.
wow.
And
Wow.
then I didn't even want to leave my house. I was so big. I didn't
Wow.
even fit my wheelchairs anymore.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was like shocked. I mean, you've really changed from, you look totally like how you used to look now. When I saw a photo of you, I was like, what in the hell happened? And I mean, that's the honest to God truth of it. And I love you. I love your spirit. And, you know, what do you say to someone when you see that? You don't want to say anything. I just was like, I hope. And then I saw you lost all the weight, and I was like, what in? That's crazy, because most people, when they put on weight, it's hard to lose it. And so it's so hard because you have to work out or starve yourself, you know.
You know what helped was
Mhm,
well, I talked to my doctor, and you know
mhm.
we went through my medications, and we got rid of all the ones that gain weight,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and we researched and found different ones that don't gain weight
Yeah.
or just they didn't need them anymore. And then I got in touch. My dad's wife, she does all natural. She's a nutritionalist. She does
Cool.
natural food.
Yeah.
She's got a Facebook website, Heyoka Healing,
Hey, nice. Okay.
Heyyoka Healing.
Great.
But she like helped me a lot.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
got me like doing a high fiber diet.
Oh, high fiber. Okay, why high fiber?
Well, you want everything is about gut health. Like even Bruce Lee knew that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what this guy I interviewed before you for this same podcast. I'm hearing so much about gut health lately. Yeah.
Yeah. Bruce Lee, he put everything in a blender.
Really?
Meat, raw meat and all.
Really?
Yeah.
So, it's crazy. Like, I think, so you focus, the fiber is all about having a high fiber diet improves your gut health, is what you're saying then.
Yeah. So so you cut out all the soda,
Okay.
cut out sugar.
Yeah.
So that's like pastas.
Yeah.
That's like rice.
And that's like a huge staple over there. I know that. I love rice. Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
fried foods. Tried to cut out. I tried to start boiling my stuff instead,
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
and change starches to like I get like sweet potato,
Yeah, sweet potato. Mm-hmm.
and I do eggplant.
Ooh, yep. Love eggplant.
They do a Filipino style where they do they boil the eggplant, they mix it with the egg and like panko,
Yeah, yum.
and yeah, and they make it kind of like a scrambled egg sort of thing.
That sounds healthy. Nice.
It's light, or like tofu stir fries.
Yeah, I'll do tofu. So like no greasy meat, basically. You had to cut out that kind of meat, sounds like. Okay.
Yeah, chicken salads,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
sashimi.
Yep, sashimi's good. That's great. So how much weight did you end up losing?
About 100 pounds. I got down to like I was 156, and then I'm not sure where I am now. I think I gained. I think I'm like up to 160,
Okay.
165. I don't know, but I want to gain more because I need muscles in my chest.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to do. How are you gonna do that? Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna eat.
You're gonna eat. Yeah. And then do you do like chest presses or anything like that?
I got my workout, but since I started getting more active now that
Yeah.
I'm like cruising around the neighborhood every day.
That's good.
And plus, when I'm in my other chair, you know what I didn't realize?
What?
That other chair, when I got the 24-inch big muddy knob tires for it,
Oh, cool.
they're made it into 26-inch tires.
Oh
So
no.
super hard to push.
It sucks. Let's
But
see. Whatever. So you tell them that?
no, I didn't. Well, I didn't know, but and they said that I saw that now in the label. They said if it adds a 2 inches, so get like 22-inch rims, but it's like who
Right.
buys 22-inch rims?
So it's hard to push your chair through the doorway, is what you're saying?
No. I'm just saying the diameter of the rotation
Okay.
of the throw when you push it, the throw of it.
Right.
But it's good. It's like an exercise.
It sounds fun. Do you
So,
take that to the beach on the stand?
Sand is kind of tough for me. I can't wheelie through it.
No, you can't.
I dog locked wheelied on Halloween night.
Oh yeah.
I came up through a crosswalk and I came right up the transition and this guy yelled out to me, "Wheelie, wheelie."
Oh no.
Tried it and I popped it and I held it.
That's awesome.
And it was so weird, off topic, but
That's right.
the guy from the skydiving company that said, "Oh,
Yeah.
I can't skydive anymore and no more wheelchairs anymore."
Why? What do you mean?
He was there eating dinner with his family, and I rolled right behind him, and he got up and turned around. And he's like, "Hey, look, there's a skydiver!" And he got up and turned around, and then I think he knew exactly who I was.
Oh.
And then I think he wanted to shake my hand or say what's up or something, but I was kind of tired at that point when I was pushing. So I just was, when you're in your moment, you gotta just keep pushing and pushing.
Yeah, when you're in the exercise mode and you're just sweating and going, absolutely. That must be fun out there pushing around outside in the beautiful weather out there. Well,
Yeah.
So, so your main form of exercise, you do exercise. I know when you were talking on Facebook, you said you lost most of your weight just by diet and you really weren't doing much exercise, right?
Yeah. Okay. And another trick
Yeah.
was vinegar.
Vinegar. Okay.
Apple cider vinegar.
Nice.
A sip of that. You start out with like a sip, like a tablespoon, and you get like 2 tablespoons to your water.
Okay.
That suppresses your appetite as well as helps with digestion.
Right, because it's gut health, right? Is the apple cider vinegar considered fermentation stuff for your gut?
Yeah. Oh yeah, fermentation, like anything you can
Yeah.
get like naturally fermented is great.
Okay, yeah. Is apple cider vinegar is that fermented food or not really? I don't know.
I think so, and you want the Bragg's.
Okay, Bragg's. All right.
They got it at regular stores.
Okay, all right. Well, that's so great. I'm glad that you're able to feel better and to get into a place where you're able to get back to your normal weight and to fit in your chair and not have to get a new chair. That's like the worst nightmare ever, is to go, yes, I need a new chair for my body. I would lose weight too before I had to order a bigger wheelchair, for sure.
I think these chairs are gonna work. I measured a 16. I've never been a 16.
Yeah.
I've always been an 18.
Oh wow. Okay.
I think I'm gonna get a power chair.
You're gonna get a power chair?
Yeah.
You should. You should at least get like a power assist or something on your chair so you can have a little bit of a extra zoom,
I got the crowd surf. Did you see that?
No, what's that? Where's that?
I went to this punk rock band concert.
Yeah.
I had no idea who they were.
Cool.
Black Flag.
Okay.
And a bunch of friends of mine from Kona came down from the Big Island.
Fun.
So they were like my bodyguards and looked out for me. And
Awesome.
then I said, I want to go up. They said, yeah, okay.
Are you kidding me?
No.
So you got lifted up in your manual wheelchair and crowd surfed?
Yeah, because in my sports chair I got a seatbelt, huh?
You're always up to something over there. Aren't you worried that those people would drop you when you get crowd surf, or you just trust and just love the energy? Just go for it.
Yeah, well, I felt out the crowd really liked me because I moshed for like an hour.
Oh, fun. Cool.
And they just love me in the mosh pit. Like anytime I'd lose my balance, they'd like ride me, pick me up. And then I got to do another thing that I always wanted to do.
What's that?
Is at this other concert, I got to lock arms with a guy, but I wish it was a wheelchair. But I got to lock arms with a friend of mine, and we spun around in a circle like punk rock moshing.
Did you have any of this on video?
Yeah, it's all on video.
I'm not watching your Instagram apparently that close. Sorry about that. I don't know. That's awesome. You're living life. You're living life beautiful. You're 44. We're both getting old, Damon. Can you believe I turned 40 in August?
I started playing guitar again.
I know, I saw. It's awesome. I'm liking your videos. The videos that you're sharing about how to play guitar in a wheelchair is really cool. We'll give a shout out for those videos. So is there anything else you want to share with anyone that's listening before I let you go?
I want to say thank you to Red Label.
Okay.
You know, that clothing company?
Yeah.
You know, they like stuck by me. They were there before when I was doing my extreme athlete sports.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, you know, I laid off for a while, and then, you know, when I came back at him when I was gonna do the rappel.
Yeah, yep.
He was right down with me. He was like, "Yep, you're with the family." So it's like Red Label, thank you, man. They're a great local company, and that's
Awesome.
Aloha Spirit.
Red Label, shout out to them. Do you know their website? We could get some traffic to them? No?
Let me see.
Yeah, check it out. I'll wait for you. That's really great. I know I love hearing about any organization sticking by people. It's good to give them some aloha spirit.
Oh yeah, it's www.redlabelclothing.com.
Redlabelclothing.com. All right, that's great. Well, thanks for sharing your story, Damon. I know I didn't realize that you had the bipolar thing going on. So I think that was really cool of you to share that. Thank you for.
Well, I super want to
Yeah.
tackle that awareness.
Yeah.
Living with it and making it work for you.
Yeah.
And also knowing the side of, people misunderstand and they mislabel mental awareness.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a couple friends with bipolar. I don't know everything about it, but I do know it's very complicated and there's a lot to it. And I know. I'm glad you look like you're doing pretty good, though. I hope you have a good Thanksgiving tomorrow.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. I hope you got a good one too.
It's gonna be boring. Do you guys do some good Hawaiian food for Thanksgiving?
We're actually gonna do a mix.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to one of my caregiver, one of my aides' houses, her sister's house.
Yeah. All right.
We're gonna do a mix of turkey and Filipino food.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah. I wish I was coming to your part of the world for Hawaii. Minnesota's so boring, man. Oh, well, I'm going to come out there one day. One of my PCAs is actually coming out to Kona for her mom's wedding. And I told her, I'm like, I know Damon's out there. Shit, man. $800 round trip. I could come visit you.
Didn't your dad come off to the
Yeah. My dad and stepmom, they're there like every other year. They love Oahu because they think it's cute and tiny and whatever. I don't know.
That's where I am.
Yeah, that's where you're at? No
Yeah.
way. Oh, well, Damon, you're the best. It's so good to see you.
Tiff Lacey.
Tiffany. I don't take my eyeglasses off for many people, just so you know that, because I get super paranoid. Like, so I just want to say it's good to see you, and you're awesome. So yeah, so we will talk soon. I unfortunately have to cut it here, but we should talk again soon. Maybe we could have you back on. We can talk about mental health or something, or just whatever.
Okay.
All right, you're great. So thank you. All right, aloha.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Bye.